Eastern India has some of the most poverty-stricken regions in the country that are vulnerable to natural disasters like floods, cyclones and earthquakes. These impact the lives and livelihoods of almost 90% of the population. Marginalized communities, scheduled castes and tribes who are deprived of basic amenities for survival. These agricultural economies get devastated because of floods that occur between June and September every year. The floods of 2007 were one of the most severe in this decade. ECO and Oxfam's approach has been to provide support to critically affected families with relief and recovery programs, as well as build capacities for future preparedness. This helps families cope better with vulnerabilities and reduce their risks. During the relief phase, rescue workers focused on reducing the suffering and vulnerability of the people by helping them reach higher ground. They also addressed their immediate food, shelter, health and sanitation needs.
He
52-year-old Basu Marandi lives in the Loknathpur tribal hamlet of Dhitpura village, which is about 17 kilometers away from Jaleswar town in the state of Orissa. She belongs to the Santhal tribe and lives with her husband, his first wife, their 2 sons and 2 daughters and grandchildren. Their family survives through their earnings from agricultural labor. On the afternoon of 17 July 2007, Basu was at home with her family. She and her family watched in horror as the water slowly rose, submerging their home and minimal belongings. A young man from their hamlet swam across to the neighboring village and managed to get a boat to rescue his fellow village members. Over many trips, the people of the village were transported to safety to a school building that was on higher ground. During the first 10 days, dry food ration was provided to Basu's family. This consisted of chira, jaggery, sattu, groundnut, roasted gram and salt. They were given tarpaulin sheets to build temporary shelters, and that helped them survive those initial months. Elsewhere, across the flood-affected areas, other aid organizations constructed temporary shelters with provisions for medical assistance, food, water and sanitation, and even education for children, to help affected families maintain a sense of normalcy through the period of crisis. With the village submerged, Basu and her family faced the threat of diarrhea. Trained village volunteers demonstrated how hand pumps needed to be chlorinated. They also focused on hygiene education and the need to drink safe water from hand pumps, cover their drinking water, and use ladles to serve water. Children were taught how to properly wash their hands to prevent spread of germs from their hands to the mouth. As a result, there were low incidences of diarrhea even after heavy floods. During the recovery phase, the 2 important strategies were recovering with agricultural support and recovering income security through cash for work. The first strategy used is agricultural recovery by provision of winter crops. This helps vulnerable families recover from the loss of primary crops such as paddy. In December that year, they received agricultural training, 15 kilograms of paddy seeds, irrigation and fertilizer support that helped the family ensure some minimum food for the next season. Over the next few months, Baso and her family slowly rebuilt their lives. The cash for work strategy has a double advantage of addressing short-term income needs as well as reducing risk by strengthening flood preparedness. Garsahi Ballipal is one of the villages on the banks of the Subarnarekha River. Every year during the floods, when the river overflows, all the villages get submerged. 48-year-old Bikartan Mahalik worked for 30 days to build a 5 feet high embankment. This embankment running through 2 villages prevents the Subarnarekha waters from flooding the village.
Subarnarekha banya je astila pani amar eitu hetila ei pakhaja.
1 year after its construction, the villagers can already enjoy the fruits of their hard labor.
ए वर्ष आमे देखते पाइने बंद ए जल तेणु आमे माटी ए जे बही की पकिले 2 मासर काम को गुटे मासर काम करिके आमे बंध तयारी करछि रघुनाथपुर टू गुआपड़ा.
The Cash for Work program has been modelled along the National Rural Employment Guarantee Act being implemented by the government. The CFW program has demonstrated both the need and effectiveness of employing community members to build specialized structures, both to reduce risk during disasters as well as to provide local employment opportunities. To ensure sustainability, the CFW strategy has been promoted through workshops with all levels of government officials. This has helped raise awareness on the urgent need for structures such as raised homesteads, embankments, and roads to be constructed under NREGA. On the other hand, through the CFW process, villagers have also learned the guidelines of NREGA and have been able to negotiate their entitled wage of 80 rupees a day. In Tardi, in the Darbhnaga district of Bihar, villagers, after engaging with CFW, were inspired to participate in the NREGA program. Even women who had never worked on construction projects before were motivated to demand their rights from the government program. Cash for Work program was a key intervention to ensure food security and short-term livelihood. Village committees who represented a cross-section of the community took the responsibility of identifying vulnerable community members who have the most need for the Cash for Work program. They took care to involve Dalit families, women-headed homes, and people with disabilities. 58-year-old Kaushalya Biswas of Asti village in Orissa participated in the Cash for Work program in her village. She was too old to do hard labor, but she contributed by doing jobs like cleaning tube wells. The money she earned, she used judiciously. As a widow, she had often faced humiliation from her neighbors for not wearing the customary silver bangles. Her first purchase from her Cash for Work income was a pair of silver bangles. Public health interventions addressing safe water and sanitation needs aim to reduce the threat of waterborne diseases. Strategies used include public health promotion, campaigns, and provision of water and sanitation infrastructure. The attempt is to ensure that each of the project villages has at least one safe water source. Hand pumps with platforms are raised. Local people are trained in repair and maintenance of these pumps. Villagers under the CFW program built community bathrooms with hand pumps and bathing facilities to ensure privacy and safety of women.
महिला के लिए बहुत कठिन नहाय में दिक्कत बुझाइ छलैया तो ओइसे से अनेक रंग के बीमारी पैदा होइ छलैया बाथरूम वाला से महिला के यह फायदा भेलै कि जे साफ सुथरा से नहा सकलिया कोई संकोच या कोई लज्जा बात नहीं है बीमारी से ओकरा कष्ट से दूर भेलैया एहे महिला के एकटा फायदा भेलै स्नान घर वाला से या लाज के कोई संकोच नहीं
Capacity building trainings on contingency planning with village committees is a strategy to reduce their vulnerability and enhance their flood preparedness. In Sitamarhi district, Bihar, village committees demonstrate how they are now equipped to address future disasters. Villagers assign themselves to different committees: early warning, communications, rescue, recovery, health and sanitation. The rescue committee is trained in life-saving skills. Volunteers are trained to man the FRP rescue boats supported by ECO, which are stationed with local partner organizations. The village is also equipped with a country boat for use during emergencies. The committee responsible for the boat inspects it regularly and stores it in a shallow pool of water to prevent damage. The Communications Committee is armed with important telephone numbers and a megaphone to spread the message fast during an emergency.
हेलो हेलो भाइयों, आज रात में बड़ी 2 बजे रात में बाढ़ आने वाला है। इससे आप लोग बाहर से घर छोड़ करके आप ऊंचे स्थान पर चले आइए।
The Health and Sanitation Committee members are trained with critical knowledge on water purification, diarrhea prevention and treatment. Despite being disaster-prone areas experiencing multiple flooding, despite being remote areas with poor communication systems, despite being poverty-stricken regions with poor governance and few employment opportunities, village communities have not lost hope. Instead, armed with confidence, skills and strategies, village communities stand to be better prepared to face nature's fury.